conversation with the governor of Ondo State. In a little over 1 month, eligible voters in Ondo State, southwest of Nigeria, are expected to turn out en masse to vote to either extend the tenure of the incumbent governor there or elect a new one entirely, all things being equal. However, given that elections at this level have in recent times been bedeviled by widespread thuggery, violence, and all manners of electoral malpractice, voter apathy on election day continues to be a growing problem. Pre-election inflammatory narratives from politicians has also not helped matters. All this seems to have reduced the significance of the democratic process in the eyes of the average citizen. How much will all of this bring to bear on the forthcoming governorship election in Ondo State? What has governance been like in the state over the past 4 years? And is there a compelling reason why the people of Ondo State should choose to maintain the status quo after October 10, 2020? Well, joining us now from Akure, the capital of Ondo State, to attend to these questions and a whole lot more is His Excellency Akeredolu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Governor of Ondo State, and a former president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Good morning, Governor. Good morning and welcome to the Morning Show. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. Morning, sir. Well, let's go straight to business.
Good morning.
Yes. I was saying in the introduction that why should anybody in Ondo State want to maintain the status quo? In other words, what are you bringing to the table now that you are seeking a second term? What do you think should be those compelling reasons why you should be given that second term by the electorate in Ondo State?
All right. Thank you for that question, Ruben. Do I use the word compelling? That would be right. The only way you explain matters of this nature is for you to be physically present or visit Ondo State to know what we have done. I mean, that is, as I always say, what God has enabled us to do in the state. And I believe that is enough. Because where you have a government that has been in place for less than 4 years and has done, let me use the word, fairly good work in terms of trying to bridge the infrastructural gap, in terms of schools, in terms of so many other things. So if you get to know what we have done in the state, that is compelling enough to make sure that, I mean, for the people to want to return us back to office. So for me, work is there to speak for us. And it is something that the evidence is there. Your eyes can see it. And those who have been following news items here and there can see where people have come. For instance, the president has visited he was there to commission a few of our projects. Our national leader has been around to commission a few of our projects. So with that, I can assure you that everybody can see that with the little we have been able to do in less than 4 years is enough. Because I've tried to go into history and I look at it that what we have been able to achieve in this number of years is a landmark achievement. I don't think any other government has done it in the number of years we have done it.
Okay. Just to ask a follow-up to that, what would you do differently should you win that you have not done in the last 4 years? And I would also like to ask you based on local politics and permutations, because you cannot discard this, especially in the Nigerian elections. Zoning has been very critical to your state's politics. And your opponents are capitalizing on this because many are saying, power should rotate and shift away from the north where you come from. What do you have to say to this? Is this a challenge for you?
No, it's not a challenge. I mean, Adesua, let me tell you, a number of people are advocating zoning. And those who championing the concept of zoning, who believe that we must have that convention, are loudly in favor of our retaining office this is what probably you need to know. Zoning has been contemplated by our people is largely in our favor. Now, what they are talking about is that, look, okay, we had a governor who came in from Central, who spent 8 years. Now, the governor is now from North, and that's my humble self. I'm from the Northern Senatorial District. I'm just finishing the 4 years. And the whole state, and I mean it, everybody in the state is saying, let the North complete his 4 years. And I believe that maybe there are one or two other contestants that I don't know very well who are probably from North. I believe that those who are clamoring that not to complete his terms are readily saying that, look, let this government finish another 4 years, then by the zoning arrangement, it will go to the South. And the South can probably now have a shot at it. And this has led to many of our my co-aspirants who probably were from the South and every other person coming together. All of us are working together now to ensure that, yes, this zoning arrangement is kept so that nobody should disturb the equilibrium. If there's this disturbance, it will affect the whole political goal of the state when it comes to issue of office and office holding. North is supposed to serve because this has rotated over and over. My coming into office, by the grace of God, I'm sure, was because I was from the North. People felt the power should cease to the North, and I'm here. And people are convinced that, look, if Central has spent 8 years undisturbed, the North, barring any reason of importance, like, okay, if a governor has done well, has not done well, I mean, let me say that, which is not the case here. If a governor has not performed up to a level which we have surpassed, and that with that, then there's no need for us to change. And if there was to be a change anyway, it will be a change in the North. So the North finishes his own 8 terms, it goes back to another senatorial district. So for the permutation on zoning, which you mentioned, Adeshua, favors us clearly, not any other person.
And the first leg of my question, what would you do differently? Because, you know, a lot of people also think that the second tenure of political office holders in Nigeria is usually a cash-out period. What are you going to be doing differently should you win this election?
I don't. The time you said cash out, I don't understand what it means. But let me go straight to answer your question. We have a lot we are doing. This state, I mean, what have we done? We have not. We are just almost like scratching. We need to go deep into finding solutions to so many other problems we have in this state. I spoke about infrastructural deficit, which we are trying to build, and we are not where we are supposed to be yet. So a lot of work is there to be done. A lot of roads are there to be constructed. We talk about industries. Yes, we have today an industrial hub, which is Ondoli Industrial Hub. We have about 6, 7 industries that are working there. Is that all we need to have in Ondo State? No. For me, the answer is no. We need to build more industries. We need to encourage more investors to come into this state. Those are the challenges we are still going to face. And I have in place 2 other industrial hubs that are up and coming. I believe that people should allow us to see this through. We have SMAC Industrial Hub, which is the Ore Industrial Hub, and we have Menko. All these are still coming up. And we are the ones now that believe that, look, we have to see this through. We have had a situation where governors come, they don't believe in that government is a continuum, and the moment they come in, they disrupt every other thing that their predecessor has done. I didn't do it in my own time, and I don't believe it is right. But I am one of those who hold strongly to the view that, look, you allow for continuity, in about 8 years, there will be consolidation. All we are trying to do, that the next 4 years, cash out, which I don't know the meaning, is that it's not for us to rest. It's for us to continue with the work that we are set to do. In Ondo State, for instance, I had been working at us having a deep sea port, and it's so important to me. And I'm not too sure everybody has that commitment to it. I don't see it. I mean, so when a friend of mine, when we were trying to do our outline business case, and it got to a few places, the question that was asked was that, look, what has other governors been doing in Ondo State with these potentials? Oh, you are taking this thing so serious. And I mean it, and it's important to me. So even if my 4 years I'm going to spend to ensure that Ondo State has a deep sea port, it will be a great achievement for any government. So I have some work set out for me to do. This deep sea port is there. I have midwife exploration and mining of bitumen, and that is still there. I want to see it through and be sure that, look, that Nigeria cannot go back and say, look, we are banning importation of bitumen because Ondo State has now started and you can now produce enough bitumen for the use of Nigerians or for Nigeria. So asphalt, all other things that bitumen products and co, we can do it. So we have a lot of work to do. And I'm not even too sure I can complete them. I want to seriously believe that others will come to complete this work. But a lot of work is there to be done.
Okay. All right. I just want to say congrats on you recovering from COVID and congrats on your flag off yesterday, Your Excellency. But I want to ask, what happened between you and your Deputy Governor, Agbo? There were many things being said here and there. I mean, one of the things he said most of the positions are given to people that are not from Ondo State. In fact, they even mentioned that people from the eastern part of this country are given positions and things like that. So I want to know, I want to hear from you, sir. What happened between you and your Deputy Governor?
Well, Rufai, I'm not too sure anything happened between me and him. I'm not one of those who want to address trivialities. And when you have somebody who has a mind, a fickle-minded person, how do I sit down to discuss with such a person? How do I discuss or engage in any meaningful argument with somebody who is low, very low? Because if you are not low, you cannot sit down and be concocting stories. Which jobs are given to people from the East? Let him tell you. Why didn't he mention the companies that came and did this and did that? You don't just mouth it. You must support with necessary evidence. If he had given you one, then I can be able to address it. I don't know anybody from the East.
He mentioned your wife. He said, oh, by the connection of your wife, because she's from the East, a lot of jobs were given. You know, a lot of things were said. You know, he talked a lot about how people from Ondo indigenous are not even getting contracts.
Rufai,
yes, sir.
Rufai, the question I've asked you is this. Ask him, mention the job and the contract who they were given to, who will address it. We're not here to debate on what people phantom. If he phantoms that, that is no problem. My wife is from the East, and I'm part of it. And there are Easterners who live here in Ondo State. Let me finish, please. There are Easterners who live here in Ondo State. So if the Easterners who live here in Ondo State, assuming they ever get job, they are entitled to it. But I'm saying to you that let him be specific. Jobs are given to Easterners. Who and who? Is Kremborg that constructed the bridge, the interchange, the Redemption Bridge or War Road? Is it from the East? Is Dortmund, are they owned by Easterners? Is LCF, are they owned by Easterners? All the contractors that are here, Lee Fakino, are they owned by Easterners? Mention one contractor who is here in Ondo State from the East. Let him mention it. The only thing I can tell you, because I'm a very honest person, and I believe and thrive in that. If you come up and say probably a few of the contract jobs in Zubeb, like classrooms and co, in which he took a sizable number for himself and for his wife, and that is the thing for to be addressed some other day, which I can prove. But if you talk about maybe a few of them that Igbos did the contract, were the contracts awarded to Igbos? When we came in, we gave contract awarded to contracts to everybody. And if you now feel that your best choice in such circumstance, it will set those contracts. And those who are willing to buy are probably Igbos, who buy and not do the work. So what has that got to do with me? The contracts were awarded to you. If you cannot finance it, and you feel that no, a neighbor contractor will give you money, you need that money quickly. So what has that got to do with me? My wife has not taken contract here, and I don't know any Igbo man who has taken contract. Let him be specific. Don't let us, look, these are gutter talk, beer parlor talk, and that is what he engages in. But as I said, there's nothing that has, for me, I've treated him the best you can give to any deputy governor.
I just got a message here. I just got a message here that says the promoters of Cranberg Construction are actually Easterners. That the promoters of Cranberg Construction, Cranberg Construction are actually Easterners. Yes.
Cranberg, yeah, that would be a foolish talk, absolutely foolish. You can go to what do you call it, CSC, and know where Cranberg. Cranberg is working. They worked at Epe. If they send such things to you, don't mention it here, for God's sake. Let us be fair. Cranberg worked in Epe, so Easterners promoted them in Epe. Cranberg are working in all over the country. Cranberg promoted them, and Easterners are promoting them. They are not being fair. I mean, Sanu, who is their chairman, is not from the East, so are promoters of Cranberg. Why don't you be fair? Why don't you be fair? So they work, all the roads they did in Epe were promoted by Easterners. It is trash, it's balderdash. Let us not go into that.
Your Excellency, clearly there have been realignments in Ondo State, and that should not be surprising. But are you concerned by the fact that, look, some of your old allies are now the ones coming together to fight against you, if I may use that phrase? Now in Ondo State, we're told that a third force has emerged, and that third force is led by former Governor Mimiko and Mimiko Ajayi, your former deputy. And former Governor Mimiko has said certain things about you. He said specifically that you are not progressive-minded, and that's why he has teamed up with Mimiko Ajayi to get you out of office. And then you have Itai Ojegede leading the PDP. Does this make you a bit nervous, considering the fact that these realignments are being led by people who are formidable in their own right?
Let me tell you. Does it affect me? Does it make me nervous? No. Let me assure you here, by the grace of God, I'm confident of my victory. It's not something that is negotiable. I am confident of that victory by the grace of God. Who are these people? They said allies. They were never my ally. Was Mimiko ever my ally? No. I ran against him in 2012. I ran against Jegede in 2015 with Mimiko supporting him. How can you say Mimiko was ever my ally? The only thing is that I have treated him fairly, better than no other governor has treated his predecessor as fairly as I've done to Mimiko. But Mimiko has his own traits. Let us leave this. And if Abuola, with what he did, found succor or solace in Mimiko, it is because they share the same trait. People who are prone to betraying others must come together. They are plumage with identical feather. So they want to work together. So why are we worried about them? He has no Mimiko is not a political force anywhere. He left office, ran to go to Senate. He did not win. He didn't even win his local government out of 6 local government. What force? It's a spent force. This man is dead politically and probably needed some resurrection and probably some support. I know that Bola has money to waste. He can support him. So let them continue. I can assure you, Mimiko, let us be fair to ourselves. Mimiko, who is he in the politics of Ondo State today? Let him be listened to him. He's nobody any longer. He's finished politically. And Ebola cannot even resuscitate him. Whatever they want to do, they can do. But to say I've been nervous about forces, they say they are third force. Third force on what? They don't exist. They exist only in your newspaper, I mean, your new media or your news media, and come and talk all this trash. There's no problem. But I can assure you, we are prepared. This is APC. This is not... When we were not in government, Mimiko and PDP and Jegede, we defeated them. Should we be afraid? We defeated them. We won convincingly 14 out of 18 local government. And let me assure our people who are watching us today that we are going to win all the 18 local governments. We are not boasting. We are on ground. We have worked. The people can see our work. And our work will speak for us. Our work will win the votes for us. We are not a garden of betrayers. We are not. We are not. I mean, Miko can continue to do what he did. I mean, he worked with our Defrati. He did not betray him. He worked with Akeredolu. Did not betray him. Ashaju Bola Tinubu, all of us supported him to become governor. He did not betray us. So Ayuna says, he says, my ally. How? Do I know him? Have I ever been in the same political party with him before? Never. So he cannot be my ally. Abola, I only just brought him from there, one of the PDP, to say, okay, let us balance. Work with us. And if he felt that he was going to go back home, you can see his record. Tell me any other person who has been in 3 political parties in 1 month. From APC, within a month, APC, PDP, then one party that does not exist, ZL Labour. So is that a human being? You can see that he's an inconsistent person. 3 political parties in 1 month. Let us look at it very well.
Okay, I wonder if you feel the exact way about the PDP candidate who was your closest rival in 2016, because indeed you won with a margin of 94,462 votes. But political analysts would say Ajayi Jegede was running in and out of the courts because there was a parallel candidate from the PDP in the person of Jimo Ibrahim. And so he did not have the time to put the house in order. Don't you expect a stiffer contest this time around?
Well, you said he was running in and out of court, but the campaign was going on. Let nobody deceive you. They put in their best effort from this time the campaign was lifted until the day of the election. There was no way they would have won beyond what they had. But again, the advantage was there. The governor was supporting him. They were incumbent. We were not. We were coming from outside. And we trashed them. There's nothing that the court, what did the court do to him? Nothing. He was campaigning and moving around. He felt he was candidate. But he was not the lawyer. Though he's a lawyer, but he had a lawyer that was doing the case in court. He was all on the field. We were meeting. The campaign was on. So, but for him, he's a worthy, what I would call adversary. I mean, I don't see anything wrong in him. I mean, somebody that I have a lot of respect for. We are colleagues. He's a senior advocate of Nigeria. And he's worthy of the office. But the point is that the timing, and I believe that when the time, he will soon realize it, that he's probably making a futile effort because the time is not right for him now. He cannot, on his own, disrupt the arrangement or the unwritten agreement of who becomes, at what time, what becomes a governor. But again, when you are running against a train, you cannot, how do you want to survive? It's not possible. We have worked. We have done a lot of work that will speak for us. So for me, for Tayo, as I said, gentleman, good, worthy of the office. As I said, I have nothing against him. He's exercising his fundamental right to want to run for this office. He's entitled to it. But he can be sure that he will not win by the grace of God. And we will win this election. But whatever happens, at the end of the day, as we did the last time, we remain friends. We still remain friends because he's a friend. I mean, look at him. I can even jump to the issue of Mimiko. This is a man who worked with Mimiko for 8 years. Mimiko betrayed him. He has betrayed him now, has gone to another person. So how can you now, look, let me leave the issue of Mimiko. Let me talk about people who are serious. Jegede is a serious-minded person.
Okay, Your Excellency, I mean, you said so many things. So let me just make postulations and scenarios on what you said. You said it's not time. Ajayi is a great man, but it's not time yet. So the time you lost to Mimiko, it wasn't your time then. That's what I want to know. And what is this unwritten rule you talked about, you know, that the time somebody will have to be governor and things like that? What is this unwritten rule about? And thirdly, the APC also called, you know, the PDP dead in those states. Do you feel any jitters as regards the PDP being dead? You know, or you want to confirm that statement and say, okay, the PDP is dead, you know, as was said when the flag off happened? Or you feel Ajayi Jegede can still muscle something? And I want to refer you to something that was said recently on a radio station, you know, about Ajayi Jegede winning, you know, the last election, that it was just given to you based on arrangement. You want to react to those issues, sir?
Oh, right. I mean, if I look at that, it was given to me based on arrangement. Who gave it to me? I don't know. Did they mention who gave it to me?
No.
No, they mention who gave it to me?
No, they didn't mention who gave it to you, but one of the top people in your cabinet that had left, you know, went on a radio station and said that. You know, I mean, Dr. Abati, I don't know if I can get the name of the radio station again, you know, to say that particular thing, that it was given to you, they helped you, that originally Ajayi Jegede won that election.
Oh, so INEC now turned the result upside down. So Una gave it to me. You know, ask INEC, ask the voters. Election we won convincingly. How can anybody give you a result? Are you awarded results? The only thing I can say when you talk about giving the victory to me is that it's a victory that God gave to me, and nobody can take it. If it was given, why didn't they challenge it in court? The two other contestants did not go to court to challenge it. It was a victory that was clear. I mean, if you claim that God gave it to me, yes, I accepted it from God. As he gave me that time, he will give me again now, whether they like it or not. So the point is that he's not give me somebody who, okay, say if somebody, a top member of my cabinet, well, maybe we are referring to he's back in the fold.
Abegunde said that. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
He alleged that Governor Rotimi Akeredolu didn't win the 2016 governorship election as declared on the states. He said that on Crest 87.7
You can interview him again. What I'm saying is that you can interview him again now. People are playing. I mean, for that time, I believe strongly that he did not mean it, or he did not understand what he was saying. But he's back in the fold. He has returned back to APC. You can now ask him whether it was true, because after the Crest FM incident, he retracted it and said he never said so. So give it to me how? How do you give somebody a victory? My victory was from God and nobody could take it. But again, you mentioned about Jegede. Let me go straight to that. Jegede, as I said, or you started by, when I lost to Mimiko, was it because of the arrangement? Yes. I could have lost the election to Mimiko. I was popular enough. But the people felt that, look, the Central must do 8 years. That it was not the turn of the North as at that time. So the people made a choice. And, well, that means I ran against the tide when I first ran against him. But it was an opportunity because I was coming to politics another time for the first time. All I knew was my bar association, and was it a thing that I was so much interested in? No. All I knew was my bar association, but people came, my people felt they needed me to serve. And I came up. The party gave me opportunity, and that gave me enough popularity, and people got to know me. So it was like testing the audio and testing the ground. And for that time, people made a case that, look, Central should do 8 years. And he won. Now, I'm in the saddle now, by the grace of Almighty God. And the people are saying, since Central did 8 years, let not do his own 8 years. The same thing will happen. The same sentiment. People will still vote the same way and show that, look, we must have this convention. You cannot run against it by any way. And that's why I said, for Jegede, the time is not now. It's not right. It's not right.
Well,
because how will you not say, sorry, 1 minute, how will you not say it, not did 4 years. Now you come back to Central again, that has just done over 8 years. 8 years. No, let's be fair to others. Let's be fair to others in Central District. That's why I said the time is not now. But he is eminently qualified to be a governor, unlike people who I know that these states, they don't qualify to be governors of this state. Like the person you talk about in ZDP, Abolaja, how? What has he got to offer the people of this state? Nothing. But when it comes to Italo Jegede, yes, not because he's son, but because he is learned, he's read. We must, on those states, is not for neophytes, it's not for nincompoops.
Well, Your Excellency, well, you've offered a lot of clarifications on a number of issues of interest with regard to Ondo State politics. But there is also something in which you've played a major role, which is the emergence of Operation Amotekun, the Western Nigeria Security Network. Well, last month, you launched the Ondo State Security Network, Operation Amotekun, and it was interesting seeing you in full Amotekun uniform. However, what is the relationship between Amotekun in Ondo State and the police? Because you recall that the Inspector General of Police had said that this state security outfits must necessarily work with the police. So how is that working out? And how can Operation Amotekun provide security when they are not allowed by the federal government to bear arms?
Thank you so much. Well, as you rightly observed, we, last month, what we did was we went ahead to train men and officers and men in Amotekun. And at the end of the day, what we saw that day was the passing out of trained men who are for Amotekun. Now, when you come to about issue of relationship with the police, it's been a wonderful thing for me. And contrary to what we are seeing outside, what I see operating between Amotekun and other security agencies here is total cooperation in Ondo State. And I believe also in other states, like in Osun, at least I saw a few of the vehicles that came over here in during my inauguration. Few of the vehicles came. What they run is like a joint task force. The police is there, the military is there, and there have been 1 or 2 kidnap incidents in Ondo State. And I know that in pursuing the kidnappers or in trying to unravel what happened, Amotekun, the police and the military work together. So there is cooperation, at least at the state level that I know. I believe that, and I hope nobody will come and put any, what I would call, disrupt the equilibrium we they have or the arrangement that is going on now. But when it comes to the issue of the Inspector General of Police, my own understanding, seriously, I don't believe the Inspector General of Police is against Amotekun. There's just some discontent tunes that come from other areas, not from him. We have had discussions with him before. The discontent tunes are not directly from him. You just get a press statement that will come here and there. But I see the Inspector General of Police as cooperating. When we met, we talk about community policing, we talk about anything. I will say, look, you have come with a good idea that probably if we had, that they can collaborate with Amotekun and Co. And all of us believe we should work. Then when you talk about the issue of ammunition, yes, the Inspector General of Police has said so. And our own contention is that we are arguing that they should allow Amotekun to bear ammunition. But if we continue, Amotekun is set up by law, and there's a law that sets up. The law is there for, we can make laws for ourselves, and the laws are there. But we still have non-prohibited arms. Our hunters go to farm, and what they carry when they go to farm is litter. As it's killing animal, it can kill human being. So non-prohibited arms, we are still using them. And we are using other, what I would call warfare munitions that are not known. They are not one that you can see with your two eyes, although you can see them tied around themselves. So if anybody, if anybody comes, you can call it, but Amotekun is ready to disarm anybody without any ammunition. We are ready, and soldiers can fire their guns. Anybody fire their guns, they will just see it falling down on the ground. When they see that, won't they run away? So we don't need to use all their ammunition. So, but non-prohibited ones we are using.
Unconventional armory, interesting. Mr. Governor, it's been almost 4 weeks since you launched Amotekun in your state. What has been the outcome so far? Are you able to put pinpoint successes, challenges already to it? And let me also ask you, because there were lots of expectations that this would be implemented across board, across the states in the region. However, some states are still holding back. As the chairman of the Governors Forum for the region, what seems to be the problem? Why is this not a general implementation? And what do you have to say to critics who question the timing of your launching with your bid for a re-election?
Okay, thank you. Well, as chairman of Southwest Governors Forum, I know of a fact that virtually all the states are ready. Their men have been trained. Some are training, some have trained their men. The fact that in my own case, we did a passing out, it's not to say that others are not working. Well, it's just that when we finished training and the commandant came to me and said, look, okay, we are ready. We cannot just deploy these men without a passing out. And I look, these boys have been trained, they have been there for 5 weeks, they have gone to range, they have gone to bush, they have done this, they have done that. We need you, sir, to be part of the passing out parade. That's why I went. Maybe some other states, because I see their vehicles are already on, people are there, maybe they have trained their men, they probably have not done a passing out. So we just did passing out, but not for political reasons. What do I want to gain from it? Yes, I wore a uniform. Maybe my other adversaries are now scared. They think I'm now a Amotekun free marshal. Yes, I'm a Amotekun free marshal. Is not. You have to be very prepared to be able to confront me, even politically. So I'm a free marshal in Amotekun. So if whatever I have in this quote and unquote warfare, this politics, quote and unquote, because they will misquote me and say, politics is war. Politics is not war for me. But quote and unquote, if we use it like a warfare, whatever I have, I use. So the advantage that happened on issue of Amotekun is not deliberate. It's not political. Usually I don't strive for political gains in matters of this nature. It's because it was just sheer coincidence. So we must wait until after election before people who have trained for 5-6 weeks pass out. What has that got to do with election? We have to wait until after election. Well, we are not going to do that. We have done what we believe was right, and it's not for political gains. But on issue of what we have achieved, I've said so. I'm telling you, it's been wonderful. The men have done so well. There was kidnapping in Jubere. There was kidnapping on the way from Iduani in Owanko. They are the ones that went to the bush. Because as their field marshal, as the governor, as chief security officer, they send to me every minute their movement. I know, and I see them in the bush. I keep telling the commander, please, let these boys. Their safety is what matters to me. But I don't know what is. They are so encouraged. They are so involved because they believe that they are protecting their people. It's a different kettle of fish. If you are a stranger in the land, it's not easy for you to commit all your time to protecting people. But these people, I see them with their blood. They are ready to protect their people. So when I see them in the bush, sleeping there, that's what they're supposed to do anyway. They sleep there, run after, monitor, do everything on these kidnappers. A few of them have been arrested by them. They have had the herders who have come, destroy farms, that they have gone there, and the others left their herds. They brought them into their premises until the others and the Mitiala people came and said, look, go and pay for the farm that you have destroyed. Go and pay. You pay, you come and collect your herds. And these are things they have been doing. It's just that, I mean, we don't, I said to the commander, give enough publicity. These photographs, I'm seeing you in the bush, let people see it, because you are doing wonderful work. And I want to thank them for their commitment to protecting lives and properties of our people, of their people. And I think Amotekun concept is a great one.
Right, Your Excellency. Recently, the federal government set aside 13.3 billion for community policing. I'd like to, know your take on that, and also I'd like to ask you, what are the ways at which you've put in place to curb excesses? Human beings definitely will have excesses at some point, especially when you give a man, tools to be able to enforce in society and things like that. So what are the ways you have in place, to curb some possible excesses of the Amotekun? And if you can just explain to us, the whole gamut of their work. Take, for instance, do they arrest and hand over to the police? How do they do? What do they do?
Thank you. Let me start from the issue of the 13 or so billion. I don't know how they want to spend the money. That has no effect on us because we're not involved in the spending. And if anything to go by, when the issue came up and that they felt that the state should pay salaries, and we're not, I was one of those who said, no, we are not paying salaries. It's not good to work. So I wondered what the 13 billion was for. Explanation came that is to buy them uniform, buy them that. So if that is the case, it's either you want to establish your community policing and take charge of it. If you don't want to establish it, let's leave it. Initially, the concept was that it will be voluntary. I told them then, the idea was, I said, nobody will do it. Voluntary. Not in Nigeria now. Voluntary. Nobody would. But they came up, said to pay. Are you increasing our allocation? We are paying nobody's salaries. We are not doing that. So, if they want to run it, good, all well and good. If they choose not to, all well and good. We are prepared to protect our people. But when it comes to the issue of excesses, these are men that are way. I can assure you, the training they went through was thorough. Our own commander, the commander of Amotekun, was one of those who pioneered Nigerian civil defense. He was deputy commander general of Nigerian civil defense. And some of us believe in those that he should have been the commander of Nigerian civil defense. But fair enough, if he's not given. But we have given him a greater task. And he's one of those, he wants to midwife a thorough and well-disciplined Amotekun corps. And I see him doing it very well. So for us, there will be excesses. There could be, there will be, but they know how to deal with them. I will give you one example that came up. They were there, maybe I think it was during training. Somebody, you are here to finish your training, you are going out, trying to collect some money and stop people. When they got to know, he was dismissed immediately. The man went around, I think he came to one of the senior people and they came to me and said, what happened? I asked the commander, I said, this is what it is. I said, let him go. No matter who he is, he's gone. So it's a disciplined corps, a disciplined Amotekun that we are trying to build here. And for me, what they have done about few arrests they've made, they could send, I know that if they need to send to the police, they will send. But a few of them, they do their own debriefing, they pass to SSS will debrief, and a few of them have gone to civil defense, who also have a right to prosecute. So if he goes to the police, I know they will prosecute, but they have not been involved in prosecuting. They have carried out arrests, they have debriefed people, and they have handed over to those who will now prosecute. And this is what has been the process in about the instances that I've recorded, about over 5, 6, in which they have made arrests, and I know of it.
Well, Your Excellency, we have less than 10 minutes to go, but I'll just ask two questions. One, what has the experience been like managing COVID-19 in Ondo State? And I asked that question advisedly because I've seen one or two events, the flag off of your campaign, and also when Olushola Oke, SAN, handed over his political structure to you. Yes, I saw a sea of heads, but most of those people were not observing social distancing. They were not even wearing masks. And at the flag off of your campaign, it looked like it was more of the party leaders observing certain protocols. Then quickly, the second one is APC, your party, has been criticized for not respecting internal democracy. And we've seen this played out at the national level and also in Edo State. There have been similar complaints. And even in Ondo State, there are members of your party who were complaining about internal democracy. How can APC address this, which is very central to political party formation and processes?
Thank you. Let me start from the COVID protocol, which you claim probably was not observed in a few of the places we went. You will note, what I will correct first is that all the two instances you mentioned about Shola Oke and our
flag off.
what we call flag off rally, flag off. When you talk about leadership, the leadership I saw there were all wearing their face mask. Leadership. We made available face shield. We made available men who will be there to attend to make sure that people's hands are sanitized before going on the field. So many other things were done. Now, what we have to just accept is that, look, it is near impossible when you have a crowd like that to now get whether police officers or law enforcement agents to enforce the compliance with this protocol. It is regrettable. It's an unfortunate situation. But we have to find a way of doing it better. And, well, I still have a lot of stops as I go on with the campaign. We'll make sure that we try and enforce it. But our people, I mean, you can to stop them is not easy, and because most of them believe that, look, this is their party. They want to show that they belong to this party. They want to show their strength. Ask them not to come, they will come. Tell them to come, they will go. So their own is to do what they believe pleases them and show their support for their party, for their candidate. And it becomes more difficult when not only your party members, when the people love you. It's not an easy thing to control. I go out, I try and lock, I'm in a treated vehicle, I lock my door. If I'm not there, the moment my windows are open, people crowd. What do you do? I said, you are not wearing face mask. Go and get your face mask. I distribute face masks to them. I do everything. But it appears that it's just a little drop. It doesn't assist. All of them will just surge. It's not an easy thing to be loved. And when you are loved by your people, it's not very easy to control their emotion. I find it difficult. But I'll try as much as possible. I try to run away. Some of them will say, I drive past, I don't greet them. Oh, if I find time to say, let me greet them, they will surge. So when people love you, I'm not saying we should take it for granted, but we will make sure, just give us some time, we'll make sure and see how we can ensure that this protocol is observed at our rallies. But the leaders, governors don't take risks. All of them wore their face masks. All of us, the chairman was by my side. Every other governor that was there wore his own face mask. So people don't take risks. So I believe that it's something we can improve on.
Quickly,
I concede that the protocol has not been observed.
Because we just have a few more minutes. The crisis of internal democracy in the APC.
Right. No, it says so. I was going to go to that. Now, there is crisis of democracy everywhere, not only in APC, is because it's unfortunate that we are at this level, haven't spent this number of years. But people say to me that it really takes several years for democracy to be internalized. It's not something that you can get by flight. It takes several years. It might not be in our own time. This internal democracy in our political party, even in the country itself and every other facet of our life, might be a thing for future generation. Because they said it takes time. It took time in America, it took time in Britain, not 20 years, not 25. So these are things we have to live by. But for us in APC, we realize a few of us sleep. That's why we are making amends. That's why, for instance, we're about to change leadership midway, and we are now going to have a fresh convention so that we can properly have this internal democracy in our party. But as I said, it's not only in our party, it's everywhere, every facet of our life. I believe that it takes time to internalize democracy, and all of us will have to wait and give us time. And the APC is not an exception. Give us time, everything will be in place.
Well, thank you very much, Your Excellency, Arakunrin Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN. Thank you. We've enjoyed this conversation with you very much, really exciting. And I'm sure that our viewers have also been able to learn a few things from you. Thank you very much indeed.